Okay, today I'm gonna do a texture cover jar again, using different texture from the MKM roller. And I'm gonna show you more detail on it. So this is about 2.5 pounds. Okay, 2 pounds and 8 ounces. And I will first throw a straight cylinder, and then I'm gonna insert the this is from a PVC pipe. I'm gonna insert it to the cylinder and then the color, and then roll my texture, and then pull out my PVC pipe. Later on, I'm gonna add a piece of a slab, and then push it so you have a little dome, and then heat it up, and then flip over and attach to it. So that's my plan. And I want to know how wide the cylinder should be, so I'm using the caliper to measure it first, so I know how much I could stretch it out. And then I have already put a piece of newspaper here. So first, center. Since I'm making it that much wide, so I could push it down so the base will be wider. And measured about this wide. And then at the center, drill all the way. First, I usually use my right thumb to drill an initial small opening here. And then I'm going to use my left hand, okay, the left hand to drill more. While I'm drilling it down, you want to make sure that the wall is under control. So usually I put my right hand here to support it, and then when I'm drilling it, kind of brace my arm, brace my thumb on my right hand, and then my right hand is bracing on the splash pan. So everything is connected, so you will have a better opening when you are drilling it down. And don't open it wider yet until you reach the right thickness. I would say about maybe between 3/8 of an inch to half of an inch thick for the base. And if you are not sure, that you can stop the wheel and then use a needle tool to poke a hole and to measure it. Alright, so once I reach the right thickness, now my fingertip is going sideways toward my right hand. You could use the finger tip to compress it. or we can use a wooden rib to compress the bottom too. Here I have my stretching stick that I kind of modified my stretching stick. So one side is still round, but this side I use the sandpaper to sand it down. So this part is flat. I'm using this part here to compress. Compress the bottom. Okay, so if you want to modify your stretching stick, you could do that too. So it's easier for holding something that is solid. Sometimes people have a bit trouble to just use their finger to compress the base, so they prefer using the tool to do that. So this is one suggestion for you. And then after that, I'm going to raise the wall. Just keep it straight. So basically I'm using my thumb and the finger to raise it, since this is very low. So when it's low, I usually pull up like that. My right hand is just stabilize my left hand. So pinch the wall and then raise it up. I want to make sure the PVC pipe could insert easily. So this is about right. Maybe you open it wider a little bit. And also to raise the wall a little bit taller. Okay, and then see that the PVC pipe is easy to insert. You can use a little bit glue to, little bit of slip to glue the paper, so the newspaper is fitting tight. Okay, so to put it in, and then you are going to color the cylinder so that it is fitting tight. You can use a wooden rib to compress, and also to remove the finger mark. Okay, sometimes if you think the wall is a bit too thick on the base, actually you could adjust it by remove a little bit clay off, so that your wall is even all the way from the base to the top. So this is what I do. If you find out the bottom is a bit thicker, just get a basic trimming tool, and you can do a little bit of a wet trim. Okay, remove the clay from the bottom corner. And just make sure when you are using this method, you want to pull out when you are cutting. One of your hand, okay, your left hand, should pull out the clay. Otherwise, the clay, when you peel it off, if you don't separate from your cylinder, it's going to stick back to it. So make sure you pull it away from, okay, like I'm doing here. Pull it away from the cylinder. So now the cylinder, the wall is more even from the bottom to the top. Right, and now I'm going to use my roller to roll the texture over the surface. And remember, you don't want the clay to stick back on the roller, so this is what I usually do. Soak it in the water. Okay, soak it in the water, and then roll it. And the reason I'm putting the PVC pipe inside the cylinder is that I want my texture to be able to roll it very deep. So put in the support on the inside. Alright, so I have it all the way around. I might be able to cut the rim off now to keep it straight. Okay, the cylinder is forming, and the texture is over. Now, you can lift the PVC pipe first. So when you roll the paper, make sure you have a little bit of room so you can grab the PVC pipe instead of grabbing the paper. You're gonna pull out the PVC pipe first. Okay. And then just carefully remove the paper. Okay. there's a little bit of a wrinkle inside, and also the corner isn't quite very smooth. So you can go back there and smooth it out a bit. Okay, and then I want to make sure that my wall is a little bit stronger, a little bit stiffer before I put my slab over the top. So I will use a heat gun or hair dryer to dry the surface a bit. Let me clean up the surface. Okay, so separately, I already rolled the texture on the slab. So I will put it on top, but make sure that later on after I attach, I want the texture to be on the top. So when I'm putting it on here, actually I'm putting the texture underneath, okay, on the bottom. And I'm gonna trim the extra clay off first. Slowly reduce the size. Okay, so maybe I have about 1/4 inch extra. And then I'm going to use a sponge to compress it so it's there's a dent, so when you flip over you will have a little dome there. So I'm using a sponge to compress down. Okay, and you want to keep the dome at the shape, so you want to make sure that you dry your slab a little bit. So I'm going to bring my heat gun again and kind of dry a little bit so that the shape stays. Score the surface where I'm going to attach. Okay, slowly pick it up, still holding the shape, and then I'm going to score where that is going to contact. Put some slip over. Right, carefully bring that shape over and make sure that it's in the center. Okay, squeeze it over a bit. So you see that the dome is still holding. That's when you are using the heat gun to heat it up a bit. And now you want to use a little bit of pressure to compress down the joint part. So I'm using a wooden rib. There's an extra clay hanging over, so I'm going to trim . Okay, I'm taking my time to make sure that attachment is nice, strong. Okay, so the box is sealed, and now I could trim the bottom off, the corner. Okay, so that's the other texture box, and when it's the hard stage, I will cut a little a groove there, and then I use the knife to cut it off and then trim it. But for now, I'm just going to poke a hole so to release the air, so the air can come out, so I don't trap the air inside. Maybe about two-thirds of the length, and I'm poking a hole here. So when it's the hard stage, I will cut from this portion, cut a groove, and then use a very sharp knife, pointing knife to separate it, and then trim so that whole piece will fit nicely. So that's the texture box, and it's not a very difficult project as long as you can throw a straight cylinder, and you can make your wall a bit thicker, so when you trim you have a little room to adjust. Right, so thanks for watching.